What do you consider the worst A Song of Ice and Fire book? Today, I will be showing my ranking of all of George R. R. Martin's Song of Ice and Fire books. Some of you might disagree, but let's get started. George R. R. Martin wrote 5 of the best fantasy novels that I have ever read. And that is no bias, a little bias maybe, but A Song of Ice and Fire basically changed my view of reading and fantasy books as a whole. Nothing has filled that void since, and I don't think anything will fill that void. And today, guys, I'll be ranking all 5 of the Song of Ice and Fire books. Hopefully by the time that I'm dead, we will get books 6 and 7, but I don't know, so let's get started. Number 5 is A Clash of Kings. Now, when I say number 5, it is still a very, very, very great book. A George R. R. Martin number 5 is like a number 1 of any other author out there. Now, that might not be true, but I will say it. Like, I am obsessed with the series, guys, but number 5 is A Clash of Kings. The main reasons are, it felt like it was a lot of setup and world building, and it was a different tonal shift from the first book, which I know a lot of people like, but it was just a little bit too much, and a little bit too much of a build-up. Kind of like that middle book syndrome, because it's kind of in between a Game of Thrones and a Storm of Swords. Still very good book. We had a lot of Tyrion. That's when Davos is introduced, and I will be honest, I did not really care for Davos too much at first. Obviously, I like him as the story goes on, but when we first introduced, I was like, I don't know how I feel about him. We get the start of Theon's arc, which is a great character arc. I love Theon. I love to hate Theon. Like, you hate Theon, and no matter how much of a redemption arc he will have, the things that he's done in the past is horrible. But there's at some point in the story where you start to like the character, you start to enjoy the character, reading the character at least. You got the Battle of the Blackwater, which was a great battle. Tyrion really taking the lead on that one, but no one takes him seriously. Like, he really was the leading force of that battle, but even Joffrey ran away and no one really took him seriously. Even before the battle and after the battle, like, that gained him no credit. So he basically risked his life and his he basically became more ugly. He was already ugly, and now he became even more ugly after that battle because of the scar that he took after that. Also, another thing is the House of the Undying for Daenerys. Really good scene, but I feel like in this book, I was very interested in the politics of the Westeros side of the world, and anytime we got taken out of that and went to like Essos or any of that Eastern stuff happening, I was immediately like, oh my god, can I just go back to Westeros for a second? Let me just finish this, please, and then we can go back to that, It was a lot of that back and forth. So anytime we went to Daenerys, I got taken out of the story. And that's a common theme, I feel like, throughout the series for me. I'm less interested in the Daenerys side of everything. I usually just like to stay in the Westeros side. But maybe that will change with these last 2 books if they ever do come out, and maybe it'll become more interesting storyline. But anytime we went to Essos, I was immediately taken out, and I had to just take a pause for a second. But yeah, so number 5, guys, Clash of Kings. Number 4, A Feast for Crows. Now, this is a divisive book, as you all might know. Either it is your favorite book or your least favorite book, or at least one of them. That's because Feast for Crows and Dance for Dragons were kind of written as one book, and George R. R. Martin decided to split them up with different point of views for each book. So in this one, you get a lot of Cersei. This is where all the Greyjoys were introduced, and that's the main reason, the problem I had with this book when I was reading it, was all the new Greyjoys that were introduced. It was so many more POV chapters that were introduced that was becoming a little confusing, with Arianne Greyjoy and Asha Greyjoy and the other one, I can't remember his name. But yeah, and then Cersei, you get a lot of Samwell in this one as well, which I know a lot of people don't enjoy his chapters. I enjoy the things around what he's doing, but yeah, reading his chapters is a little less interesting than reading most other people's chapters. And you don't get a lot of the popular characters in this book, like Jon, Tyrion, a lot of the mainstays and everything like that. Still a very good book. A lot of Cersei making a fool of herself and just being wrong in every aspect ever. Very cool cover though, and very cool title, Feast for Crows. I love that. Get some Jaime in here though, and I love reading Jaime, especially from this point of view of this book. And some Brienne, I love their storyline. I'm really excited to see where that storyline goes in the future books, with where it's left off, because from what we know, Brienne went to get Jaime for Lady Stoneheart, and I have no idea what the implications of that are. Either they're going to be working together against Lady Stoneheart, or they're all 3 going to be working together, which is a very interesting option. But yeah, guys, so number 4 was A Feast for Crows. Number 3 is A Dance with Dragons. This is the other half of the Feast for Crows and A Dance for Dragons. And mind you, this is my first, I've only ever read these books once, and I read them in the order that they were published. But I know a lot of people suggest a tandem read, and I might do that on a reread if I ever do reread these books, because people say that's like makes it really more interesting to read it side by side. But I didn't want some of the things to get spoiled in A Dance of Dragons from reading A Feast of Crows and A Dance of Dragons at the same time, because I know that there's some spoilers that cross over. But this one, you get Jon, you get Bran, you get Daenerys, you get a lot of the more popular viewpoints, and I did like this a lot, and I especially love Jon's arc throughout this book. Him trying to be the best man, best honorable man that he can be, just like his father, Ed Stark. And it really ends with him being killed by the Night's Watch. Oh my god, I forgot the name for a second. But yeah, the book ends with Jon dying, and because of the show, we know that he is resurrected. And in the book, we don't know the exact reason or the exact method that was used to resurrect him. But that is going to be a very interesting. My guess is that the prologue or the first chapter of A Winter will be Jon awakening, or maybe not. Actually, that'd be a good idea is if for Winter, if he keeps that suspense up. But I don't know. There's no point in keeping that suspense up, I guess, if we already know he's coming back. But it would be cool, like halfway through the book, if that's when Jon is revived. Also, people speculate that Jon skin changed to Ghost right before his death, just like Varamir Six skins did in the prologue of this book, I believe it was in this book. Like I said, guys, it's been like a year since I read these. My memory's not the greatest, but I'm really trying out here to recall things. And these are big fucking books, so you know, look at, like, that shit is crazy. Look how big that is. But yeah, still very great book. I like it a little bit more than A Feast for Crows, just because of the viewpoints I get from this one. I know Jon, a lot of people say Jon is boring, but I do love Jon as a character, and I get to see more Bran, and I hope the show, I don't know if you guys have watched the show, but the show kind of ruined Bran. I know he's not that much of an interesting character that people like anyway, but I think he can be with the Three-Eyed Raven, Three-Eyed Crow, like storyline, and the powers that he has, and the time travel and shit like that. I hope it becomes way more interesting in the book, and I hope he uses those powers and, like, you know, more interesting scenes happen than in the show, because I do think that can be a very interesting plot line. But yeah, guys, and more Tyrion in this one, which obviously everyone loves Tyrion. I mean, come on now. But yeah, what a way to end this in the cliffhanger on a series that has not gotten a book in, I think, like 11 to 14 years, one of those, I can't remember exactly. But Jon Stark's death, and I still believe in the book, I can't remember if they revealed it or not, because I get mixed up sometimes with the show. I don't think they revealed his true identity yet. Maybe they did, but Jon Stark, aka Aegon, not Aegon, that is the show, Aemon Targaryen. Oh, also Jon Connington in this book. This is the first time you get to see Jon Connington, and I mean, come on, who doesn't love the Eagle Boy? So with the Blackfire rumors and and I think this one, I can't remember if it's A Feast for Crows or A Dance with Dragons, but whatever one has the epilogue of Kevin Lannister dying to Varys. That is another good epilogue. Sorry, I'm getting those mixed up in my head right now. Like they said, these are kind of one book anyway, so the events happen like simultaneously. Okay, guys, number 2 is A Game of Thrones. And I mean, how can you not love this cover and love this book? The prologue, starting with Will finding the White Walkers and running away from the Night's Watch and all this other stuff. Like, it's really sets you into that world, that mystery, that intrigue, and it's kind of like a mystery novel this entire time, because you're trying to figure out who assassinated Jon Arryn, and of course you get Eddard Stark, good old Ned Stark's point of view chapter, which he has 15 point of view chapters, I believe, in this book, which he doesn't appear in any other book, which is like a lot to have in just one book, especially a book this small. So you get a lot of Ned Stark in this book, and who doesn't love Ned Stark? Ned Stark's character is such an honorable, great, well, everyone says he's honorable, but he's such a good character to read, such a wholesome character, really about family and values and honor. And his character's like influence he might be one of the most influential characters in the series, because he died in the first book. Spoilers, by the way. He died in the first book, and everyone talks about him. His effect, his influence is still felt in the last book. Like, Jon's constantly thinking about Ned. Catelyn's constantly thinking about Ned. Sansa's constantly thinking about Ned. Everyone is constantly thinking about Ned. Everyone that is his enemy hates him, everyone that is his friend loves him like to death. Like, he's such an influential character and such an important keystone in all of this, like everyone's thought processes and how they value their life and everything. Like, it's such a great book. And the book ending with Daenerys being reborn with the 3 dragons is crazy. Like, that just makes you want to immediately open up the next book and pull up the page and just be like, yeah, this is like the best thing ever. So yeah, guys, and in like retrospect to the other books, it's pretty small, which is, so it's a lot more readable, and you get to see the Stark kids find their dire wolves, which is a very important aspect of the story. And I can't love this book enough, guys. This book is so good. I implore everyone that is mildly interested in reading this series to even give this one a shout. This one is so good, and if you don't like it, that's okay, but I just implore you to try it, please, please. And to no one's surprise, number 1, I mean, what else can I say about this book that has not already been said? But it's a Storm of Swords. Look at that. There's so much jam-packed into this book that if this book was like 400 pages longer, I still feel like it would be too short. This book is almost perfect. This is where you get all of the very infamous moments that were popular in the show and the series. You get the Red Wedding, which was devastating, especially with reading Arya's chapters later, and knowing that she was on her way there and just made it right after the Red Wedding happened, and that is so sad. Seeing Robb, like, you're rooting for Robb this entire time, like at least I was like, Robb, please win, please win this war. And then he goes up to this wedding to feast with the Freys, and they just fucking slaughter him. They just cut his neck. They like do all this crap. And Catelyn dying, another thing. Like, Catelyn's a hit or miss character, I feel like, with some people, but I really liked her. And even though she was a little mean to Jon, but it's understandable because she thinks Ned cheated on her to have Jon, so that makes more sense why she doesn't like him as much. But and everyone, the direwolf dying, the entire, like, it was one of the most disturbing things in this book to happen. And Tywin is an evil person for this. I think this might be the most evil thing he's done. One of the most evil things everyone's done, especially like Walder Frey. Like, because you have the whole guest thing. Like, if you invite someone over to your establishment and you feed them like bread and food and you welcome them as a guest. So it's supposed to be like, peace. It's supposed to be nothing happening, and they slaughtered everybody, which is one of the most heinous things that anyone's could have ever done. So yeah, that is a crazy moment. The other crazy moment in this book, and I was so happy to read it and so happy to watch it in the show, was Joffrey's death. Joffrey's assassination. You're like, what the heck happened? Did Tyrion do it? Did Sansa do it? Find out Lady Olenna did it, which is just, I think that's what she did it. Like I said, sometimes I mix up the TV show and the books because I watch the TV show after reading the book, so sometimes I get the events mixed up. But anyway, Joffrey was poisoned at the purple wedding is what they call it, and it was great to read, great to see. That was such an incredible thing. And it's like this, so like, okay, basically this first half of the book was a lot of setup, a lot of slower things, and then once you get into the second half, that's when all the crazy shit happens, and it's just, and it's great. It's such a great read. One of the best fantasy books of all time, one of the best books of all time, A Storm of Swords. Look at that cover, that title. It's just, everything about this is crazy, guys. And yeah, so number 1, Storm of Swords. I know that it's not a very controversial opinion. I don't care. It's the best book for a reason. So yeah, guys, thank you for watching this video. If you guys have read Song of Ice and Fire, drop your rankings down below. I would love to discuss it with you and talk about what characters you love, what characters you don't love. Literally any reason to talk about the series. I will, because I want to consume the series more. I watch so many videos on it, so many theories. Can't wait for Winds of Winter if it ever comes. Hopefully this year, copium. Anyway, yeah, guys. If you want any other videos related to this series, drop them down below. Drop any video recommendations down below, and I will take anything into consideration because I am wanting to grow this channel, build this channel, however you guys want it and however you guys enjoy it. All right, guys, that was the video for today, ranking all the Game of Thrones / Song of Ice and Fire books. Let me know what your ranking is down below, and if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Please share, please comment. Any kind of engagement makes me happy, makes YouTube happy. So yeah, I appreciate any like, any comment, any whatever you guys want to do. I appreciate that all. And if you made it this far, comment Dragon Balls down below. Balls with a Z, of course. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Augie out.